Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, Live for Speed fans, and welcome to Sim Broadcast for the Master Race Car E-Challenge 2024 season. We have more thrilling racing on layouts inspired by real-world circuits, enhancements to the show to make it even better this time around. This is round one at the Mexico City E-Prix circuit, and I am joined once again by my good friend Tom Jones. Tom, welcome. How are you?
I'm great, Travis. It is so good to be back. I feel like once a year we sort of come together, do the E-Challenge, and then we wait till the next year for it next time around. So it was absolutely crazy last year, and I'm looking forward to another fantastic season of E-Challenge this year.
I am as well, and sharing it with you, though we will have a rotating cast of commentators, various obligations throughout, but you will hear a lot more voices this season than we did in prior ones. Today, round one, the Mexico City E-Prix circuit starting. We have qualifying coming up in a few minutes, and then a sprint race and a feature after that. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be at the Berlin E-Prix circuit. 3 weeks after that, New York, and then a conclusion a couple weeks after that. There you can see on the screen the Mexico City E-Prix circuit, inspired by the one in Mexico City. The infield stadium section, very tricky. The long run into turn one, a difficult turn one. Lots of collisions there in practice, Tom. We've noted that. We expect to see a little bit of that in the race. Once again, qualifying coming up in a few minutes. We'll take a look at the car that we are using for this season. Very first season done with an electric F08. Now a few evolutions of this. The MRC E-Challenge car designed by our own MRC Michael, 350 kilowatts at full power, slightly reduced during the races. There is an attack boost feature, which we will talk about a little bit later on. 350 kilowatts again, full power when these cars go out for qualifying, and then they'll be able to tap into that briefly during the race. Tom, while we're waiting for cars to go out on circuit, maybe we can get into some of your bold predictions without putting you under time pressure before we get into qualifying. You've been watching practice. We've been talking about it together. Who do you think are the strongest? Who are your contenders for good performances today?
Well, I think we've got a strong contention at the top four. I think sort of our fastest four that we've been seeing today has been Nico Pantola, Imran Mazar, Adam Brown, and of course Gabor. So those are the four I think we're going to see really fighting at the front. Adam has had some difficulties when he's going on his push laps for turn one. So whether he's able to keep that nice and tidy and clean during the duels, which I expect to see him in, and be able to put the laps in, or if when he's pushing for those laps, if he does succumb to that, those slight mistakes he's been making and hit that outside wall, it's yet to be known. But of course, it's very difficult here. Turn one, you've got the inside wall that goes all the way as the apex, and then if you get that slightly wrong, slight oversteer, slight bit of understeer, you get met by that solid hard wall on the outside, which will of course ruin your lap completely. So the duels are going to be very interesting to see if everyone can hold that together. But I'm thinking my shout for top four, and I reckon Gabor's going to get pole. There's Imran Mazar to Adam Brown, and then Nico Pantola. That's my top four.
That is a confident and very precise prediction. So we will see what unfolds. In the early practice sessions, Gabor was at the top of the pile into the minute one range. I think he did a minute 186 in the non-free, the open practice before the official practice session. But several drivers all very close together, very close to the minute 02 benchmark. One thing that we've mentioned in previous events, the GT2 Challenge, is that Imran Azar has made the switch from the MRC team over to Team Citus. So Imran Azar, who we were accustomed to seeing in the fluoro yellow, the fluoro yellow E-Challenge car, now in Citus purple. Those teammates are running a special livery today that we are excited to reveal to everybody when we go live, which we should be doing in just a few moments' time. There you can see we are live for round one right now, just waiting for the qualifying session to open in the background. There will be a 2-minute hold time, 12 minutes on the clock, 2 minutes for everybody to line up at the end of pit lane before they cut everybody loose. Tom, let's talk about the attack boost. So in prior seasons, they had an exploitation of the game physics, we'll call it that, with an extra lane at various parts of the circuit where drivers could elect to drive into the attack boost lane and then use kind of the quirks of the physics engine to get a little bit extra speed. The developer of the game, Scott Roberts, in collaboration with the developers on our team now, have made we'll call it a proper attack boost feature. And you can see there on the track map in turn 12, there is an attack boost trigger section, which will give the drivers 4 minutes of full 350 kilowatt power, whereas normally they go around with about 300 kilowatts, 4 minutes at full boost, which could add a lot to the complexion of this race, Tom.
Yeah, it's really great to see the change that's been implemented for these, and that it's just showing the willingness and the active participation in the community from school, which is great to see. We know he really enjoyed the times where he was racing last year, and I think he noted some of the interesting attempts that the guys were making to make sure we did try and get as close to realistic with those options as possible. And so it's great to see him implementing this little feature to make sure it works for them. And I know so I think it's going to really help, because I know sometimes the attack boost wasn't great last year. I know speaking with some of the drivers on some circuits, it was a case of the attack boost actually was slower, but I think we've got it a bit this way now, so will only ever be a positive, and will be interested to see when the drivers decide to use it.
Yes, indeed. And since we've mentioned his name a couple times, Connor Roberts is participating today. He is in the field. He will be turning qualifying laps and then joining the race, so we welcome him. Finally, I think one more thing to say. As we tick over to the qualifying session in the background, so we will have cars on in just a moment. Once again, Scon joining. He will be in the session today. Cars going on track in just a moment. And you said at the top, Tom, that you might have, owing to your fatigue, that you might make a few mistakes. And now I have to battle on myself. I completely lost my train of thought. So we wait for cars to line up at the end of pit lane, and I will punt it over to you to tell us something interesting.
Yeah, so cheers, Travis, dropping us in like this. But of course, got a lot of drivers here today. First one, only the 4 rounds this year again. But I think definitely going to be exciting with the shorter sprint race that we have first. Normally throws a few spanners in the mix for drivers. We found slightly less, because with only the 16 laps in there, it's don't quite have the time for everyone to get settled and really work on their strategy. It's a lot more scrappy than the main feature race later on. So I think that one's going to be interesting to see with people, because I think we're going to see some late lunges in that one. And I think in Travis, I know we normally ask me for the crazy predictions, and I'm going to come out with some as we get closer to the race. But what's your crazy prediction? Any sort of upsets you're expecting here in qualifying?
Yeah, I expect this man right here, Jared Mead, could put on a very strong performance. He's very good in the race. He's very consistent in these cars. And he got a little bit of help from carnage around him in, I believe it was round 2 last year. Someone could check me on that in the chat. But Jared Mead, my dark horse for a win in one of the rounds, should trouble befall some of his competitors. I appreciate you vamping for me there, Tom. I remember what my earlier thought was. One of the interesting elements of this racing, not enhanced like we have gotten with the attack boost, but weather, or at least virtualized weather, dictated by the officials, is an element here. As the clock ticks down to 10 minutes, cars should be turned loose now. Green flag, Jared Mead first out on circuit to set flying laps. Weather, an element in these races. Right now, no rain, dry circuit, and the prediction for this event is that it will remain clear. But maybe the weather gods, the virtual weather gods anyway, will choose to surprise us. That remains to be seen as we follow Jared Mead coming around now to this back straightaway and approaching turn 9, the stadium section. And we'll wait for all of these drivers to come through and see which of these drivers, the 8 of which can make it through to dual qualifying in about 10 minutes' time.
Yeah, I think Gabba is just sat behind Jared at the minute. I think he needs to leave a bit of a bigger gap, but not too much so. I know Jared's really trying to get the heat in his tyres. I think Gabba is as well. You just need to, because we know he's fast. We know he's really fast, but you don't want to get caught out by any nasty surprises on the exit of turn 1. So we see Jared here rounding the corner here to start the first flying lap here. I'll talk you through the first lap, crossing the line there. Lifting off and braking hard, about the 75-point turn, in tight there. As you see, he slightly messed up. He touches the bumps, and as a result, he spins around, and Gabor's coming around as well, and he's automatically pitted, so he was out the way by the time Jared got there. Gabor getting in tight. They don't want to run wide because, of course, very little runoff in places on this track. Solid wall on the outside, and of course, there's also this tight double-hander at 5, double right, sorry, at 5 and 6 into the cutback left on 7. So not really going to be an overtaking spot during the race. But then we're back down on the run to the stadium section where they're lifting about and braking about the 100 here. They'll be lifting, I reckon, probably about around 200 meters in the race, but just hard on the brakes to the 100 and then running wide here because it gives you a slightly miss the apex, but you get a much better cutback on the final one here to get the drive out on the corner. But of course, these cars aren't massively aerodynamic like you see in Formula One, so they do struggle to keep it down. I think you're probably going to see power for a bit here from Gabor before he lifts off just there, and then only for half a second or so, then gets back on the power. Doesn't really want to touch the curb on the inside because it will unset the car, and then the run to the line there, pulling a 102.7, which isn't a bad lap. It's a respectable lap. During the earlier practice sessions, that would put him about 5th. But here, I expect we'll see him going about 9/10 of a second faster than that. I'd expect to see from him.
Yeah, benchmark set by Gabber, about a second off his best time. Coming through Carlos Macioitis, minute 4.03, so plenty of gap between Gabber and Adam Brown. Goes to the very top. Just as I was about to say, there is space to fit more cars between Gabber and Carlos Macioitis. Adam to the very top. Nico Pantola slots in 3rd place now, right behind his teammate. Minute 3.8. So big spread of times among the very top drivers as we watch Imran Azar coming around the final corner now, crossing the line. Looking at Gabber going around to start another flying lap in just a moment. Imran Azar to the very top. Pips Adam Brown by a little bit more than 1/10 of a second, minute 2.47. So lots of time in it for these drivers, Tom. Much quicker lap times in the earlier open practice session and indeed the official practice session. So as time winds down closer to the halfway point in the open qualifying, I expect these times will fall substantially. Carlos Macioitis on screen now, coming around. Ooh, bit of wheel spin from the rear of the car. It is tricky with full power available in qualifying and under attack boost. There is definitely more than enough torque to spin up the rear wheels. As Carlos Macioitis there, you can see his onboard. Sobas34 on Twitch. He is live, so go give him a follow. This is his view. Notably, Tom, we give Carlos and a few other drivers a hard time about their choice to use chase cam. Today, Carlos in cockpit view, so we praise him for that.
Yeah, I think really nice, adds to the realism in a sense, but also I think I don't really know. I know chase cam can provide you more awareness when you're racing, but I feel like from personal effects anyway, I'm more effective from the cockpit cam, the driver eye view. I just feel like I do better there, but each has their own with their preferences. But it's always good to see drivers running in that race POV and getting it really as a real sim opportunity.
Beautiful camera work here highlighted, Mo's camera work highlighted here with the kind of the low helicopter drone view coming through the stadium. Carlos Macioitis flashes under the cameras here in this very long turn 16, all the way out to, not quite all the way out to the curbing, but out over the white line and across. Carlos Macioitis does not improve, still there in 6th position, a minute 3.9. Someone improving further down the order. I believe that was Ramon Hornas, who went up to P10, someone a bit further down. But Gabber has just a few moments ago taken the top time. Now minute 2.717 ahead of Imran Azar, 3/10 clear of his teammate Adam Brown in 3rd. Nico Pantola rounds out the top 4. Jared Mead not far behind in 5th. So we look at Timo Sarkkinen coming through the final corner now. A little bit of wheel spin of the rear of the car wanting to get away, but has it well in hand all the way out. Just glances the curbing. Easy as you like. And across the line at minute 4.59. So well down the order in P9 for Timo Sarkkinen, who dives into the runoff and telepits. As we look at another driver coming across the line now. Can't tell who that is. Mika Sarkkinen, my bad. Sorry about that.
Both are they brothers, Travis? Both Sarkkinens, they're brothers.
They are indeed.
Keep Mehlinger confirming, yeah. So a bit sibling rivalry we're going to be seeing here. Travis, I don't know much about them. Do you know much about them?
I'm afraid I don't, except that one of them, Mika, is one of our commentators.
Big spin
so
by Jeff
he does.
And Jacob there. So
yeah, Jeff and Jacob with a big spin. Thank you for cutting in there, Tom. Yeah. Mika Sarkkinen is one of our commentators. I believe he does RTFR, and he's one of our and RTFR XL. So he's one of our weekday commentators for Roni's events. And here we see Pedro Vitor coming around turn 2 now. Rear of the car just stepping away from him. Now under 4 minutes remaining, so not much time left for drivers to set more times. Ooh, a little bit wide of the first apex here at turn 5 and 6, but managed to get it pulled back into the second apex there. Now through 7 and 8, which are barely even corners, before he jumps on the brakes here right at the 100-meter board, pitches the car around the tire stack there and into the stadium section. Very nicely done through the first part of this, leaning out of the throttle as the car slows down for this final left-hand apex. Very nicely done there. Rear of the car trying to get away, but early in the power for Pedro Vitor, who we know is much better than a P10 position. Around the final corner now, fully in the power, breathing the throttle slightly to get it down to the curbing, just past the pit entry line, all the way out to the curb on the exit and across the line. Pedro Vitor improves only one position up to P9. So used to seeing Pedro closer to the top, Tom, but he's struggling a bit today, it seems.
Yeah, he matched Lucidi absolutely spot on with 104.21. So right on the cusp there of the duels. So very, very close there. We're going to have to keep an eye on those people, sort of eighth to 10th. Those three people in those 8th, 9th, and 10th positions. Very, very close. So barely anything separating them. So interesting to see if they're able to get that. Get the timings there to see Imran Razar, I think, coming round to start a lap or finish a lap. Travis, he's finishing a lap, so we're going to see shortly now. Is he going to make a gains on Gabor? Is he going to get to the top? No, I don't believe he did. He hasn't improved on that
He
one.
did not.
So
No improvement.
he's still down there in second. When I say down there, I mean he's an excellent job at that. Right in second, just under 2 tenths off Gabor there.
Yeah, and only a few drivers out on circuit now, so I think we will see a few more come out to start their final flying laps as we watch Mehmet Joshkin come through the final corner now. Just a little bit of oversteer, just misses the curb on the exit. Does not improve from P11, minute 4.37. Rony Kronpush would like to improve. Coming around to start a lap now across the line. This beautiful low down shot. Rony Kronpush jumps on the brakes just before the 50, just glances the wall on the inside, touches the sausage curb on the left, but car well in control on the brakes for this left-hander as someone dives out of the way. That might be Jared Mead out of the way in the background. Rony Kronpush back across to the left side of the circuit and on the brakes. Tricky braking while turning for this double apex. A little bit of oversteer as he gets into the power, but Rony Kronpush looking reasonably clean so far on this lap. Now a moment to relax on the back straight before he jumps on the binders right at the beginning of the sausage curb, the 100-meter board here. A little bit wide of the apex, but good power on the way out. And now this slow, winding, all like these constant left-hand corners through the stadium section. Just punts the tire stack out of the way there on the power, flick the car to the right past the next tire stack, and now down close to the wall behind the buildings there. Fully in the power, Rony Kronpush putting as much down as he can. The rear wheels want to break loose, and a little bit of an early apex into the very final corner, up and over the curbing, and he looked like he tried to keep his foot in the power and just slide it across the line. But unfortunately, that is not going to be good for a lap. That was Martin Kapal who he had passed early on. Martin Kapal now starting a lap just as time winds down. Tom, take him around his lap.
Yeah, going around the long sweep here of turn one and then cutting it back into. He's got to get this right. He needs to get this lap on the board, otherwise he's going to have some issues. You see overhead camera here. He's got to get on the brakes hard here, get it pitched in. He's overshot the corner slightly. He's run wide. He's going to lose time there, of course. But now on the run towards the stadium section, he just swings it, using all of the road to try and get as much speed as possible. Whacking on the anchors there, about the 75 sort of area. Whereas he's run a bit late there. He's probably gone about 60 with that one. And so he's losing time hand over fist, but he doesn't have a time on the board. So he really, really needs this to be good. And I think he's overdriving and he's just trying a bit too hard. Very, very messy through the arena section there. And then back out to the final turn 16 now. Long, full power, and he's got to lift off, otherwise he's going to have a huge kick of oversteer. I think he's gone a bit too tight there, so he's going to struggle, but still on the power and just avoiding that nasty bump out and across the line, putting him there in 19, so last place there. Him and Jeff and Jacob have not had a great run, and both of them only got the one time on the board today. So yeah, but there is our 19 drivers who have qualified, with Gabor leading to Imran Mazar, to Adam Brown, to Nico Pantola. I got that top four spot on, thank you. Jared Mead rounding out the top five, Kels Montoyotis in sixth, and Hornos 7th and Lucidi 8th, rounding out our top 8 for the duels, with Pedro Vitor, of course, just missing out on the duels, equaling Lucidi's time, but unfortunately setting it second, so not getting to go there.
And there you can see at the bottom of the screen the 105, 107, 110% times, and 107% there, minute 6.52. So Scone Roberts just inside the 107% benchmark. If Mika Sarkkinen, Shibin Liu, and Martin Kapal join, it will be at the discretion of the officials. Martin Kapal and Mika Sarkkinen, regulars in the series. Shibin Liu has made a few entries as well, so I expect they may be allowed in by discretion, but it is entirely up to the officials at this point. Again, 17th, 18th, 19th positions have not made it in the 107% benchmark, so we will see what the officials decide there, while we turn our thoughts toward the top 8 knockout qualifying. Gabber, Imran Azar, Adam Brown, Nico Patola, Jared Mead, Carlos Matiotis, Roman Hornos, and Lorenzo Lucidi once again will advance to dual qualifying. The top 8 will face one another, 1st and 8th, 2nd and 7th, 3rd and 6th, 4th and 5th head to head. And they're narrowed down to 4 drivers and then the final 2 as we get through to the final in dual qualifying. I think while we wait for dual qualifying to start, we will take a pause for a few moments and we will return shortly. We are back and we are all set for dual qualifying. The first pair out will be Gabber, the reigning champion, against Lorenzo Lucidi. We will then have Imran Azar against Ramon Hornos, Adam Brown on Carlos Matiotis, and Nico Pantola versus Jared Mead in the quarterfinals. And I believe we have cars going out on circuit. Well, we have a car out on circuit now. There, this is the one we were looking for, was Gabber, not JP in the course car. Gabber now winding up to start this lap. I believe we will send Lorenzo Lucidi out in just a moment. In fact, he is out on circuit now. He's just left pit lane. So we wait for Gabber to warm up these tires, feel out the car. And there you can see on the timing tower these nice enhancements made by our own Peter Butcher so that we can track the action a little bit more closely as Gabber winds up to start a qualifying lap coming through the stadium section now. These many left-hand corners, looking at Lorenzo Lucidi, that beautiful dark green machine with the fluorescent green highlights coming into the stadium section now. And in just a moment, Gabber should be coming around the final corner to start his flying lap.
Yeah, Gabber just coming up to the line now. Of course, it feels like that final corner just goes on forever. Huge lift and then get back on the power. Doesn't want to hit the curbing, any of the curbing on the left-hand side. Otherwise, it will, of course, completely ruin his lap. He's run slightly wide, has touched the bumps, but managed to keep the car pointing the right way. No major dramas there. Getting on the brakes around the 60 board, really close to the inside wall. Getting on the power, slight slide on power, but all should be well within reason for him. Getting down nice and tight through 5 and 6 there. Getting back on the power for 7 and 8, of course, which is just essentially a slightly curved straight. Long run
Sorry,
now.
Tom. Behind Gabber, Lorenzo Lucidi has hit turn 1, so though Gabber got into it himself, Lorenzo Lucidi has lost a little bit of time there. Let's pick Gabber up into the stadium section once again.
Yeah, he's just diving around, doing the last couple corners, getting it tight onto, and it's really tight cutback they really have to do coming towards the exit of the stadium here, but down close to the wall and then moving out wide, fully on the power up to about 195 Ks for lifting off and get back on the power again. Goes around a long time, slight slide, but he should be all okay, especially with Lucidi hitting the wall. There you go, 102.74. Not the fastest we see for him, but as you see on the sector times there, he is been about 2 seconds ahead coming into that final sector. And we're just going to see now Lucidi coming around the corner. Just keeps on going, keeps on going. Oh, a big bit of a slide, bit of a moment, a huge slide still going on, running wide over the bump. He's probably going to be about 3 seconds down, and there it is. He's just under 2 seconds down in the end there. So not an ideal time for Lucidi overall.
Yeah, Lorenzo Lucidi a second and a half off after the second split, and then clean through the stadium section and struggled on the way out. As we watch Nico Pantola, second quickest in the first session, coming out now. He will be dueling Jared Mead, who is leaving the pit lane right now. You can see the red pit exit board that signifies Jared Mead leaving pit lane. Nico Pantola will look to consolidate a semifinal berth in dual qualifying as he approaches the stadium section now. One thing we should note about dual qualifying is that the drivers who are eliminated, Lorenzo Lucidi, and in a moment, one of these drivers, Jared Mead or Nico Pantola, they will be put on the grid in order of their Q1 times. So the drivers eliminated will fill out positions 5 through 8 according to their Q1 times. And then the drivers eliminated in the semifinals will be slotted into positions 3 and 4 according to their Q1 times, whereas positions 1 and 2 will be set according to whoever won the final duel. As Nico Pantola crosses the line now to begin a flying lap, staying well clear of the sausage curbs on the left side, and a big slide hard into the wall. Nico Pantola has to get back into the power. Jared Mead, I don't think will know that or will have been able to see that. Not close enough yet, but a big setback for Nico Pantola early as he comes through the right-hander here, approaching turns 5 and 6. Jared Mead, we'll wait to see what his first sector time is. Abysmal first sector from Nico Pantola owing to his collision with the barriers in turn 1. Approaching the stadium section now, hard on the brakes for turn 9. Turns in, and Jared Mead nearly a full second quicker through the first split, Tom.
Nearly 2 seconds faster, Travis. He managed rather neatly through turn 1, but now he's coming into the stadium section himself. He won't, I don't think he'll know it at all unless someone's told him, but he should be clear here to just needs to bring it round, keep it tidy. If he manages to lose 2 seconds to Nico, then Nico's driven the absolute wheels off. But Nico pulling time back, as you see, only a second and a half in it now, but that's a long time, and it's just the 2 corners to go. Nico Pantola with a rather dreadful 104.78. And this just says to me Jared Mead is going through to the quarters as long as he doesn't spin out, which he didn't do. He's kept it straight, and there we go. Jared Mead advances to the quarterfinals.
Semifinals, Tom, on a minute 3.82. So that's neither of us able to do math. Quarter, semi, or a second or 2. We'll gather up our arithmetical skills as we watch Adam Brown leave pit lane now, passing by the bane of his early practice and qualifying, turn 1. Adam will hope to stay further clear of it than Nico Pantola did in his first flying lap. Through the apex at turn 6 now in this beautiful sim broadcast livery. We do appreciate Adam representing the home team, if you will, in the red, blue, yellow colors on the black and white backdrop. Coming into the stadium section now, nice and easy through these left-hand corners while he's not under pressure to set a lap time. Just feeling out the line, repeating his driving through the racing line in the stadium section, and now nice and easy on the power. Great shot over the wall there to see Carlos Monteotis going the opposite direction into the stadium. And now Adam Brown winds up the power. A little bit of a lift to get the car to turn in here through turn 16. On the power, up and over the curbing, and then back over it. That'll cost him 100th or 2, but not too bad. Just to the right of the sausage curbs on the left side of the road there, and hard into the wall. Oh, no. Oh, Tom, even worse than Nico Pantola. Car comes all the way around on Adam Brown. And now, just like Nico Pantola ahead of him, Adam will need to gather up as much time as he can find. He will need to push very hard to make up the time he has lost in the first sector. A little bit wide of the first apex there. We watch to see where Carlos Machiotis slots in. Adam Brown, 23, just under 23 seconds through the first split. Carlos Machiotis, 19.48 seconds. So, what is that, 3.5 seconds clear? I've got it right this time, Tom. Adam Brown coming through the stadium with a big deficit to Carlos Machiotis behind him. All Carlos has to do is run a clean lap as we see him flash by into the stadium section in the background. Adam Brown, very costly mistake there in turn one.
Yeah, the guys know, Adam and Nico both know we love them, but I can't help but be a little bit harsh on these guys. They know they're quick. They know they're very quick around the lap. And if they just back off for turn one, they're only going to lose a couple tenths at worst. And they know they've got it into a huge slide. Raquel's Montoya just around turn one there to final turn there. I thought very might be the lifeline Adam needed, but no. Carlos Montoya just there progresses into the semi-finals with Adam Brown eliminated. We noted he had the struggles round there in the practice sessions and the qualifying sessions, and it's come back to sting him. He just needed to back off a little bit, just play it safe. He knows he's got the pace against Motoitis at the minute. He didn't need to take any risks just this early on, so it's unfortunate to see him going out like that.
Imran Azar through the first of these two apexes now on his outlap. Nice and easy down the back straightaway here. No reason to go too quickly on the outlap. It's not like he was burning off fuel. I don't think electrons migrating from one side of a battery to another make that much difference on the performance of the vehicle. So Imran Azar taking his time through the stadium section. One apex, two more left turns to go before he makes the right turn out of the stadium and on to the outer part of the circuit. Nice and easy in the power, feeling out the performance of the car as he winds up now toward turn 16. Slight lift of the throttle to get the car to turn in, rolls out of it and then back in it. One thing we know about Imran Azar, how good he is at conserving and managing the power in these cars, and even in qualifying, he exemplifies this on the brakes. Plenty of respect to the walls on both sides of the circuit. Imran knows that he is quick and he doesn't have to gain a tenth in the first two corners. A little bit wide of the apex at turn two, but nice and easy into the power. Imran feeding the power in and getting back out of it very efficiently. Very wide first apex, but nice and tight to the second apex as he comes onto the back straight now as we watch Ramon Hornos come through turn two. Over to the right side of the circuit, shorten it as much as possible before he jumps on the brakes for turns 5 and 6 himself. Tighter line than Imran Azar did. Imran Azar into the stadium now, 37.07 through the second split. Ramon Hornos, 0.6 off in the first sector, but nice and clean so far as Imran Azar very nicely done out of the stadium section and is into turn 16 now. Ramon Hornos should be crossing the line, 38.26, so a full second off Imran Azar. Imran Azar can coast through the final corner, which he does. A little bit of oversteer, but plenty of respect to the curbing as we look back to see Ramon Hornos come out of the stadium, Tom.
Yeah, Imran Razar there, fastest so far, but 102.45, leaving a lot for Ramon Hornos to do here. He did run, as you said, run a little wide through turn one, just tapped the wall, but no damage, nothing major. But I just not quite got the pace there to match Imran Razar. 104.23, very respectable. But Imran Razar progresses to the semi-finals there, and now just the final. No, that was the last pair we had in these quarters, and now time for the drivers to be matched up for their semi-final runs.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ramon Hornos, he set the fourth quickest time in the duels, but fourth quickest time, having lost his duel, will relegate him to the lower half of the top 8.
Sorry to jump in,
we'll need
Travis.
to look.
Exciting news.
Yes.
Gabor has had to actually depart. He's just announced he's not able to participate for the rest of this session.
Interesting. So the second duel, or sorry, the first of the second round of the semifinal duels would have been between Geber and Imran Azar. So I assume that will mean, well, I was going to assume that that would mean Imran Azar wins, but I assume they will promote every driver up one position. Yeah, we're waiting for a call from race control here. At the very least, we could run the second of these semifinal duels, get Carlos and Jared Mead done while we wait for a decision. In fact, that is, it was, well, Jonathan Provost has said car 1 against car 98. So I think we are sorting out a bit of confusion in the background. Yeah, we will just call what we see in front of us, and and to figure out what's going on with Gabber in the background and how this has affected the semifinals. Yeah, still trying to understand a bit of confusion in the background. Pete is whispering in our ears, trying to feed us information while also understanding what's going on with the officials. So, one car on track. That is Jared Mead, who, regardless of what the officials decide, needs to set a time. So we will follow Jared Mead around, coming through the stadium section now on his out lap, and we will follow his flying lap, and then we will send someone out to duel him and try to set a better time. Jared Mead coming out of the stadium now. Tom, take him through turn 16.
Yeah, a little scrappy getting on the power, but once again up to speed, and then it has to have this weird lift up, very on and off the throttle there. So he's gonna, I think, struggle a bit towards turn one, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue because he gets on the brake at the other end. He just needs to make sure he makes the corner, and he does. Almost a little bit slower than you'd expect, but round nicely onto the brakes, just about 50 board. He's run wide there, not ideal. Tap the wall. He's going to be losing time here. He just needs to keep focus. His opponent hasn't joined the track yet, so interesting. Of course, the opponent is, of course, Gabor, so it does not matter at all. He is Gabba, of course. He is through to the next round. He just needs to, of course, complete the lap. So it's almost just a showcase of his livery driving around here, just an extra bit of practice he gets. Of course, no point really pushing too hard. He's doing a respectable time there, currently 37.7 through the second split, and just now the long sweeping 15, and then the sweeping 16. Sorry, the short short 15, the sweeping 16. Just get round, and then we'll be on to the next cars, who of course going to be shooting out for that final spot in the finals.
So we have resolved our confusion in the background as Jared Mead crosses the line. It's at a minute 3.47, a perfectly respectable time that will go unchallenged. Is Gabber unable to join, was meant to duel Jared Mead, so I believe we had a mistake in our graphic with the matchup. The next matchup will be Carlos Machioidis against Imran Azar. The mistake, in air quotes, my apologies to Pete in the background, owing to the confusion with race control. They changed the matchup. Now Imran Azar against Carlos Machioidis. So we know who will be racing whom. Imran Azar coming through turn 2 now. We wait for Carlos Machioidis to go out on circuit in the background. I believe he has done already. He is ahead of Imran Azar on the road, coming into the stadium now. So Carlos Machioidis, a tall order for him to a tall order for him to go faster than Imran Azar. I don't know if that was a mistake or if this definitely appears to be an aggressive tire warming technique now, putting as much temperature as he can in those road super tires as he comes around turn 16. Nice and wide to the wall, slightly later apex, lifted the throttle to get it very tight to the curbing and all the way out to the left side curbing at the exit of turn 16. Plenty of respect to the sausages on the left side of the track there, and also plenty of respect for the turn 1 apex wall, though he tried to slap the exit with the the left rear of the car through turn 2, nice and tidy as he approaches turns 5 and 6 now. We look back to Imran Azar coming through the first corner, much smoother. Early in the power, a bit of a wiggle from the rear, but Imran Azar looking quicker indeed already, though he's just come through the second corner. Carlos Machioidis 19.22 through the first sector as we watch Imran Azar cross the line now. Imran Azar 18.66, so 0.6 of a second quicker than Carlos Machioidis. Carlos will need to find a lot of time or cross his fingers for an uncharacteristic mistake from Imran Azar.
Yeah, Imran in a very controlling position here. He's done exceptionally well so far. And there we see he is just shy of a second ahead so far with just a couple corners to go. Carlos Machioidis coming around now to complete his lap, keeping it very tidy on exit, crossing the line, putting up a 104.02. And now it's time for Imran Azar coming around the final corner, keeping the speed where it really needs to be, tight to the apex and run out wide. And then the run up to the line, crossing it there to go a 102.45. Imran Azar has been absolutely electric today so far in his qualifying, and it's going to be interesting to see. I'll be honest, I don't think Jared's going to have the pace, but of course, these are one-shot attempts. You make a mistake, and it's all over. So Imran Azar for versus Jared Mead, of course, for pole position, and then it's going to be interesting to see how the race goes from there.
Imran Azar showcasing his smooth driving style even in qualifying with relatively little pressure and, as Tom said, a strong time indeed, minute 2.45. So the final duel will be between Imran Azar and Jared Mead. Session resetting now for the two of them to go out. And we wait to see. Here we go, Jared Mead at the pit exit now. We wait for Imran Azar to join the course behind him. And pit exit is open. Jared Mead leaving now. We do apologize for the mistake in the graphic there. That is not Carlos Maggiodius. It will be Imran Azar against Jared Mead. And Imran Azar is indeed lined up on the circuit. And looks like he's in the throttle now to join. Purple Machine crossing the pit exit line as Jared Mead comes around turns 5 and 6. Well, this is playing out an early prediction that I made, Tom, that Jared Mead could have a good day. He's made it. Again, with a little help from Gabber, who is unable to participate. We don't know why yet, but Gabber has had to forfeit the event. So hearing he's not feeling well. I must have missed that earlier. So we're certainly sorry that Gabber is unable to participate, and wish him well, that he's feeling better soon. But this man here has benefited. Jared Mead finds himself in the dual final against a difficult opponent. A tall order, as Tom said, to go quicker than Imran Azar, but he is here with an opportunity. Jared Mead starts his flying lap in the dual final now. Through the first corner, nice and clean, plenty of respect to the margins of the circuit as he approaches turn 2 now and is on his way toward the double apex at turns 5 and 6 for the first split. I think the telling will be in the first split time who has the upper hand in the first duel. Imran Azar very quick through the first corner. Jared Mead 19.4 through split number 1. Probably will not be good enough unless Imran Azar makes a terrible mistake coming through turns 5 and 6.
Yeah, Imran Azar 18.5, nearly a second up from Jared Mead. So really, really on it. He was very quick through turn 1. I just carrying speed. These guys at the front, they are quick. They are very quick, but when you're right at the very, very front of this level, it's a step above, it's a gear above, and he's really putting it on now. But made a little bit of a mistake, lost a little bit of time to Jared Mead. Jared Mead not giving up or making any sort of, but running very wide out the final corner. That's going to cost him a lot of time, and it's not ideal for him. Finishing the lap there with a 103.92, so not ideal. Certainly not a time that's been able to contest with what Imran Azar's done so far, but as he is coming out of the corner there and across the line to do a 102.6, over a second faster. And there you go. Your pole sitter is Imran Azar to Jared Mead is your front row.
Yeah, so hats off to Jared Mead for keeping his foot in it and the car under control so he could set a time there. We have seen cars hit the sausages a little bit too hard or get into the wall in such a way that they've been pitched right over it. So compelled to set a time, and he does. Minute 3.92, nowhere near Imran Azar's minute 2.6. Very consistent times from Imran Azar, who does consolidate pole position. I think we might expect, or might have expected, that Gabber would be there at the tip top in a duel against Imran Azar, but unfortunately, once again, Gabber not participating today, feeling unwell, and had to leave. Imran Azar will be the pole sitter with Jared Mead alongside. We will take a moment to consult with race control, see the final qualifying order, positions 1 through 8. And then we will wait for the driver's briefing in the background and get ready for the first of 2 races today, the sprint race before the feature to come after in the first round of the 2024 MRC E-Challenge season. We will be back in just a moment. We are back, drivers readying up in the background to set the grid, which we will present in just a few moments. Once again, Imran Azar on pole position after winning the qualifying duels ahead of Jared Mead, Carlos Macioides, Adam Brown, and then Nico Patola, Ramon Hornos, Pedro Vitor will round out the top 8. You may note that I've only set 7 drivers once again. Gabber unable to participate today, feeling unwell, and has had to depart. So we wait for drivers to finish readying up in the background. They'll be set on the grid. We will present the grid for the sprint race, and in a few moments, we will be off on our way. I guess we could take a moment to revise predictions, Tom. Predicting Gabber would finish at the top of the heap. Certainly not on today, since he has departed. So I guess feel free to make your amended predictions.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with what I'm going to call a predictable. I think Imran Mazar is going to win this. Adam Brown is, unfortunately, as much as I think the guy's an amazing driver, I think he's going to stuff it into the barrier in turn 1. And I think we're going to have Nico come second and Jared Mead on the podium.
Here we are, the grid on the right side of the screen. You can see Imran Azar, pole sitter after winning the qualifying duels. Alongside Imran Azar will be Jared Mead. To the right, Carlos Macioides in that red, white, and black machine. Alongside in P4 will be Adam Brown in the SBTV machine. In the next row, Nico Pantola, Citus driver, ahead of Ramon Hornos and in the number 19. In the fourth row of the grid, we will have Pedro Vitor by the first of the race green Autosports. That is Silva Agostinho in the number 77. Mehmet Joshkun in the number 54, alongside the first of the Serkinens, Timu Serkinen, the faster Serkinen today. Roni Prongpush in the bright green machine with the red rims and the red flare, alongside Cyril Basset in the number 21. Jeff and Jacob will start behind Aroni Kronpush alongside the creator, Scon Roberts in the number 37. Beautiful blue and yellow stripes on that black machine. Mika Serkinen in the number 13 will start behind these two alongside Shibin Liu. And on the last row of the grid, all by his lonesome, our very own Martin Kapal in the number 64. Now that we have presented the grid, we will look forward to the formation lap. Imran Azar will lead these cars away in just a moment's time. This will be a standing start, no formation lap. Lights coming up now, 3 of them, 4 of them red, 5. We wait for them to go out to start the sprint race, the very first round of the MRC E-Challenge Season 2024. Cars are away. Imran Azar, good start, 4 wide in the background. Carlos Macioides, a blinder of a start, through into first position from third on the grid. Joshkun and Pedro Vitor off in the background. Someone into the barrier and grabbing very badly. Yeah. Now Imran Azar right behind Carlos Macioides, but once again defending into turn 5 and 6. Brilliant start from Carlos Macioides, Tom.
Yeah, he absolutely shot off like a rocket, and Costin's lost control and taking out Pedro Vitor all the way at the back here. Pedro Vitor having an absolute nightmare getting going, while Costin's got 4 wheels pointing in 4 different directions. So not particularly pretty here for Joska at the back. And it's not the race start he wanted. And there you go. He's losing control again, and he's hitting Pedro Vitor. I think he just needs to let him through and let him on with his race there. So it's a bit scrappy at the back. But at the front there, Carlos Macioides just took off like an absolute rocket ship, leading Imran Azar.
Carlos Macioides leading the field through the final corner now. Breathing the throttle, nice and late apex. Fighting behind Nico Patola in 6th position, looking for 5th from Timu Sarkinen ahead of him. Timu Sarkinen also a brilliant start, up to 5th position. Imran Azar still trailing Carlos Macioides, had a good run out of the final corner. Thought he might have, that's someone upside down going into turn 1.
Oh, that's going to be a safety car, surely.
I would think so. It looked like it might have been Scon Roberts. It was Ramon Hornos on his lid. Oh, yeah, Ramon Hornos on his lid. Safety car, there is the call. So Carlos Macioides, his amazing work will be briefly neutralized. Silva Agostinho was involved in that as well. And Ramon Hornos went just shooting. He was on his lid long before the first corner and went shooting into the barrier there. Might might have averted a safety car if he had managed to flip over it, but there you can see the car upside down right up against the barrier. So whatever caused that was a big incident indeed to leave him on his lid and up against the concrete.
Yeah, and we missed the excitement as well. Imran Mazar had a fantastic. Well, Curtis Montoya missed his braking point for turn one and ran wide onto the bumps, which allowed Imran Mazar to sneak past him on the side. And then Curtis Montoya quite, I think, quite wisely abandoned trying to send it up the inside, which allowed Imran Mazar out. And Joskin there coming out of the pits ahead of Imran Mazar, so able to get past the safety car and hold himself still on the lead lap. So very lucky for him. Race isn't over for him at the start, so he's got round and got through, and he's going to be going back round to the back of the trail there. Interesting whether he was actually waved through or not, whether it's allowed. So it will be interesting to see whether he picks up any sort of penalty or repercussions, whether that was in the rules or not. And then Marazar trying to keep it a bit interesting behind the safety car, but nearly spinning, which would have been a bit of a silly move for him.
Yeah, I didn't see an instruction to go by, though I don't expect it will draw too much scrutiny because he would have been instructed to go by the safety car anyway after they've neutralized the field. But even so, without instruction, may incur a penalty for that. It remains to be seen. There you can see Imran Azar ahead of Carlos Manchiotis. That is Adam Brown, Jared Mead, Timu Sarkinen rounding out the top five. While we have a moment to make chit chat while the action is neutralized, we can talk about the attack mode. So attack boost is disabled while we are under safety car. Drivers will still be compelled to use it at least once in the sprint race. And there is there we have on screen the attack zone right now. So right there, on the way out of the stadium section, that is there on the outside of turn 12. That is before the right-hand turn 13, before they leave the stadium. So drivers will need to use it at least once, or will need to use it exactly once in the sprint race, twice in the future, which again gives the drivers full power, the full 350 kilowatts for 4 minutes from the time they drive through the attack boost zone. Again, disabled under safety car conditions while we go around behind Stuart Baker. Once again, Imran Azar leading the way.
So with this now, I believe, if I remember the rules correctly, we're going to have some laps added on at the end to keep the challenge of the making sure with your. I know actually just having it here, that is 100% thing for the feature, and we'll find out whether that's also included for the sprint race shortly. I know we're running a little bit ahead of schedule at the moment, which is good. So it's still got plenty of time for this safety car anyway. Some of the drivers there getting a little bit impatient, wanting to get things going, still just following around the safety car. Of course, safety car in this lap, so we're going to see shortly the safety cars going to shoot on off, and then it will give Imran Razar the control of the field. That should be the first line, was just coming up any moment now, which will give Imran the control of the field. And of course, he's going to want to back people up, hold at the field. Probably not quite that much. I think people will be a little bit eager to go there while he's just still going at sort of a normal pace. Of course, safety car has loads of room to go, and he's crawling. I think he's probably going a little bit too slowly here. People getting a bit caught out by that. A few people nudging, bumping each other back and forward. Hopefully no damage being caused, but he's going to probably want to hold it until midway through the corner. But no, he's going now. Bit of wheel spin kicked up there. Probably not as early as I'd have gone. Probably earlier than I'd have gone. I'd have waited a bit longer until sort of mid corner and then gone just to jump people. But that's opened up a lot for Kenneth Montoya to sit in the toe. He hasn't been able to break any gaps there. But everyone hard on the brakes now. Needs to get through turn one smoothly. I know safety cars breed safety cars. I think so far we're being all safe and tidy through turn one. And as we dive into turn 2 and 3 there, no one having any crashes. But I think someone ran wide turn one and lost a few places. Jeffin Jacob, of course, is that person I've just been told in my ear. But Imran Razar still in the lead to Kellis Montiotis, to Adam Brown, to Jared Mead and Timo Sarkinen. That is up there with Nico Pantola. I'm hearing there's been a crash at turn 3. I'll have to double check exactly who that was. But it's all very, and there we go. Someone into the wall there on the left. I think there must be a bit of damage, or just caught the curb or something. Travis, did you see it?
Yeah, I think that was Scon Roberts, who was on the brakes a bit awkwardly touching the curb, perhaps trying to leave a little bit of room and getting into the side. I believe that is Jushkun alongside him, so wheel-to-wheel racing with the developer. Still side by side on the way out of the stadium section. Bit of a squeeze by Scott. I don't think he realized that Jushkin was there alongside. But now through cleanly, Jushkin takes the position. At the front, Carlos Macioidas holding his own indeed with Imran Azar, though Imran Azar is right where he wants to be. He is so good at conserving and managing power, and he is doing it from the very front. We're used to seeing him back in position 2 or 3, just biding his time. Now he can essentially back up the field, though Carlos Macioidas, Imran Azar goes a little bit wide. Carlos Macioidas sticks a nose in there, was alongside before he got a bit of a bump from Adam Brown, who is eager to get through himself. So very close racing at the front. Carlos Macioidas looks up the inside. Imran Azar gives a slight fade in the braking zone to cut him off. Imran Azar struggling with the rear of the car. Carlos Macioidas eager to take this position. Very close. Oh my goodness, wheel-to-wheel action. All three of these drivers perilously close to touching, somehow managing to avoid any contact. And now Adam Brown alongside early in the power has now taken the position up into second behind Imran Azar.
Yeah, I think Adam's decided he wants to lead the race. He wants to be able to be in the controlling position here. He's really trying to hustle them all to get a move on. I think Carlos Macioidas was trying to get by his mirror. He's braked a little bit late. Oh, not into the back of Adam, which is very good. Holding it well. It's very exciting up front here, and that's the real hustle and bustle is going through. I think Imran Azar, they've noticed he's weak in some places. I think a bit of opportunisticness happening just behind Carlos Macioidas with a few people, but Adam hustling Imran, trying to get through that gap. Imran Azar has run wide. I don't think he wants the lead, or he's trying to run wider to get a better run out the corner, but when you're being held tight like that, it does open you up for a gap, which has left Adam. He's on the inside here. I would expect him, knowing him, to brake a little bit later, and there we go. He's still on the inside line, but he can't carry the speed through the corner because he's got Imran Azar on the outside there, who's going to defensive. He's trying to find a way through on the inside, using all of the road he possibly can. Imran Azar really needs, I think, to pick up the pace a little bit and be slightly less conservative due to just how tight the fighting is here. Hearing a few people, Harkonnen and someone else have jumped. Harkonnen, sorry, has jumped into the attack boost, and Nico Pantola has done it as well, wanting to get through the field on that, as this top 4 breakaway group really is starting to build a bit of a gap to those behind, even though they are fighting just so hard, Travis.
Yeah, they are. Carlos Macioidas, a little bit of a gap to Adam Brown now, but he is sticking with them. Jared Mead looking very hungry for position 3 behind Carlos Macioidas. Adam Brown harrying Imran Azar all the way. Imran Azar seems to be more or less unbothered. He's positioning the car more or less wherever he likes. We've noted him running wide there where we just went through at turns 5 and 6. Though Imran Azar is still comfortably in the lead.
Crash through turn 3. Sorry to jump in. There's 3 cars sideways through turn 3. I think they've all got going again now, but there was a bit of a pile up there. Sorry about that.
No worries. Looked like 2 of the race green drivers had come together. So teammate on teammate violence coming through turn 3. Both of them able to get away. Teemu Sarkinen now right behind Nico Pantola. Oh, bad exit out of the stadium though. Nico Pantola now leaving a little bit of space. A little less than 2 minutes left on attack boost for Nico Pantola. Carlos Macioidas now falling further behind Adam Brown. Jared Mead has also lost a bit of time there. These drivers do not have to conserve as much in the sprint race. Obviously, the battery will it will be a challenge to go the full distance in the feature, but these drivers pushing here in the sprint. 1 lap added to the final total as someone goes around. That is Shibin Liu, who has gone backward in the stadium section. Oop, now for a second time. And now those tires well and truly cooked. He backs the car out of the way and is now back under power a little bit. Well, I was going to suggest a bit more gently, and now this looks like a Sean Lee performance in the stadium section, while the leaders are coming through now. So Imran Azar is nearly on the scene with Shibin Liu, who has just gotten away onto those very hot tires. Adam Brown still lurking and looking for first position. Imran Azar in control. Once again, 1 lap added to the final total, owing to the reduced energy consumption under safety car. And Imran Azar comes through the final corner now to start the 10th lap. More drivers on attack boost, Tom.
Yeah, Shibin Liu just got the 2 Scott Roberts on. I believe I didn't see the second driver was there. Even there. Oh, very, very, very slidey moment there, but Jakob, but managing to keep it all nicely held together. Shibin Liu did actually jump out of the way of the leaders. He was parked up on the exit well out the way of turn 15, so not to get involved in anything. As Nico Pantola has just made a dive on Carlos Macioidas to take that position. Clearly using the most of that attack boost. He's got another minute left. He just has 3 seconds now to close up on the guys ahead. And he's got 6th more power with that extra 50 kilowatts. As you see, he really pulls away down the straight there from Carlos Montoya, and I do think he's going to be able to catch up to these guys easily. And then when he uses that, if he's able to get to them with the attack boost still running, he should be able to pull away nicely. As there we go, Carlos Montoya has also just dove for the attack boost as well, Travis.
Yep, Carlos Montoya threw the attack boost and trying to hold on to this position now. The extra power will help. Meanwhile, at the front, you could throw a tissue over Adam Brown and Imran Azar. Adam Brown right under the big diffuser of Imran Azar's machine all the way through the stadium section. Adam giving plenty of respect to the turn 1 barriers in the race. So I think he's thought a bit better of his overdriving in qualifying. And now Imran Azar touches the barrier in turn 2. This might be an opportunity for Adam Brown. Goes a little bit wide. Imran Azar defensive. Adam Brown will try to cut back on the exit, but Imran Azar expertly putting his car in the way, parking it on the apex. Adam cannot get in the power to try to shoot by him. I would expect one of these laps soon, perhaps toward the end of the race, in order to make most effective use of the time. At least one of these drivers will be through the attack boost zone to pick up the extra 50 kilowatts of power.
Yeah, Adams dove into the attack boost there. He's lost the position to Nico, of course, has just finished his attack boost, and I think he's going to use this to get easily past down the start-finish straight. Remember, very long straight there. He's got the extra 50 kilowatts, so I expect him to absolutely breeze on past him here. He's only a little bit behind, so as the power sort of comes in, he expects gaps closed, and there it is. He's pulling out. Not quite enough, though. So he's going to have to probably work on that, maybe try and get him through the back section. Meanwhile, it's all on Imran Azar. Oh, Adam's gone for a late dive up the inside. Nico's seen it come in, moved out to not get taken out, but still hold the position. Very good defensive driving there from Nico. He knows he has to hold Adam behind for as long as he can with this attack boost, because if he gets through, he's just going to be able to absolutely run away up to Imran Azar. And I think Imran Azar might be smart. He's got the gap now. There we go. Adam's moved to the inside to take position. Imran Azar, I think, might be a sensible idea for him now to dive and take the attack boost himself, just to then he's got that extra power to defend from Adam. I believe, yeah, I'm just hearing he has just gone for it. Yeah, there we go. We see him. He's taken the attack boost, so he's neutralized the field, and he's going to get nearly a minute, just over a minute actually, where he's got the attack boost that Adam doesn't have, with no one in front of him to hold him up. So he's going to hopefully, for his sake, build a bit of gap. He's got a bit of a slide there through at the corner, but all okay so far. And Nico getting dropped now with Adam through on that attack boost, Travis.
Brilliantly done by Imran Azar, forcing Adam to jump into the attack boost first, and then opportunistic move by Nico Pantola to swipe that position while Adam was off the racing line. And I believe that is job done for Adam's race, unless he can find a little bit extra pace and Imran Azar makes a mistake. Though Imran, once again, a wider entry, a much cleaner second apex that time. Imran Azar very early in the power and streaking away from Adam Brown, even though he also benefits from the extra 50 kilowatts. A full minute of extra time, not extra time, but a minute ahead on the power is Imran Azar. So while Adam will run out in about a lap and a half's time, Imran Azar, I think, will be able to fully consolidate first position when Adam is falling backward, absent the extra 50 kilowatts of power. Silva Extino has been in the barrier somewhere. The right front of that machine has badly bent. He was in the pit lane and out again, but elected not to take repairs, evidently. As we look at Imran Azar, who has started the 14th lap. He's been through for a drive-through penalty. My mistake for missing that. Adam Brown is closing up to Imran Azar, Tom, but I'm still skeptical that it will be enough.
Yeah, I think we know he's quick. I think Imran is he's used maybe a small little bit of mistakes here and there, but overall it's been very clean, and we've seen he's had this pressure from Adam the entire race pretty much. As long as a bit of a twitch there, huge. Just I'm saying, commentator's curse. Huge moment there with the outbraking, but Jeffy Jacob just needs to get out the way here. And they're like, oh, that's not good. That's not where you want him. He's not done that very well at all. Give Adam right onto the back there, which is not the ideal result in the slightest. And Jeffy Jacob also in the way of Nico Pantola. Yes, they've got the white lines for the race, but you don't need to be within that, especially if you've got these faster cut, these race leads behind. Adam hits the wall, which is going to only a huge slide right there. Just what Imran Azar needed, really able to get the gap away. Adam is, I think he's just sitting there, he's biding his time. He needs to look to make a move somewhere, look to try and gain some time, and quite sensibly not trying to find it through turn one, because while you can do a lot in a lot of the other places, turn one is certainly not the place to look. Adam is, of course, going to run out of boost now. Probably by the time he gets to the stadium section, this is his last opportunity to take advantage of it. But it's not going to be enough. He clips the tyre barrier on the way out, which of course has allowed a little bit more of a gap from Imran Razar. And then I think we're going to see a minute here of Imran Razar. There you go. Adam has run out. Imran Razar, final minute of this attack boost to really take advantage. He's going to have just under a lap of the attack boost. So his, of course, will also finish down that sort of back straight towards the stadium section here, Travis.
Yeah, Adam Brown gifted an opportunity right here on the previous lap with the back marker in the way, and then rubbishes the opportunity by putting his own car into the barrier. Imran Azar on full 350 kilowatt power out of turn 16 now and over the start-finish line, and we can see him visibly gaining on Adam Brown as they approach turn one. Adam still giving it all he's got. Imran Azar running out of the extra power in just a few moments, but Adam Brown has a lot of work to do to make up 0.7 of a second in the final 1.5 laps. Nico Pantola not far behind Adam Brown, certainly within striking distance of a mistake should Adam Brown make one of his own or come together with Imran Azar if he can catch him. Imran Azar now back to normal power now, and Adam Brown jumps on the brakes about 1 second clear of Imran Azar. So Imran Azar picks up 0.3 just with the extra power going down the back straightaway. Scott Roberts ahead of the leaders now. Looking back to Nico Pantola, third in the line here, looking for a podium in the first of the races today, the sprint race before the feature. And I don't know that either of them will catch Scott before the end of this lap. He should not be a factor in the race. Looking at the boost, that is Jared Mead going through there now, Tom. So Jared Mead leaving it a little bit late.
Yeah, very late, really. Coming to with 1 lap to go. I have to say I'm not overly familiar on this rule, but does he have to use? He has to use the attack boost, and does it have to be fully used by the end? Oh, Ascalcina is spinning out there into the barrier on the inside. Needs to get his car going. He's got plenty of time till there we go. There goes Scorn and Jeffrey. Oh, he's staying in tight to let the leaders through. Sensible decision. Don't want to be backing up into the racing line. So he needs to go through the boost section, but does he have to have used up all of the boost is what I'm not sure about there.
No, he does not have to use all the time. He just has to go through it. So if you really could, Gabber complained about this. Gabber complained about this in open practice, where he felt like the car was actually slower with extra power, which is of course absurd. But he, a driver like Gabber, if he truly believed that, might have considered doing the same thing that Jared Mead did there. As we watch Imran Azar coming around the final corner, a valiant effort by Adam Brown to close the gap in the final lap, but it will not be enough. Imran Azar crosses the line to win the sprint race. Adam Brown not far behind. Nico Pantola not far again behind him. Podium in the sprint race, Imran Azar, Adam Brown, Nico Pantola. Waiting for fourth position across the line. I believe that will be Carlos Machiotis. It is indeed 12 seconds back to Carlos Machiotis, followed by Timu Sarkinen, Jared Mead, and now a battle coming out of the stadium section. That is Cyril Basset chasing one of the race green drivers. I believe that is Roni Kronpuch ahead of him. It is indeed. Kind of a scrappy exit by Cyril Basset. Might have been able to challenge had he got on the power a little bit more cleanly. But Roni Kronpuch, as long as he can get through the final corner, which he does, will consolidate 8th position behind Martin Capal. Tom, Martin Capal from the very back with cars falling by the wayside ahead of him. I believe that was 17th position all the way up to 7th. Very nicely done by Martin Capal.
Yeah, I think Martin Capal, as I think we noted in the qualifying, he didn't have a great luck with this qualifying. He got unlucky, made a few mistakes. And only actually got the 1 lap in. So I think for that lap, he really backed off and was just there like, I just need to get the lap on the board. And so we saw him get the lap on the board, which was dead last nearly. Oh, yeah, it was dead last. And then he's taken every opportunity. He's been very sensible with his driving. And he used that opportunity to really close back the time to take the solid performance in the first race.
Yeah, so we tip our cap to Martin Capal, 17th up to 7th position. Once again, winner Imran Azar from Adam Brown from Nico Pantola, rounding out the podium. Carlos Machiotis, Timo Sarkinen, Jared Mead, Martin Kapal, Roni Kronpush, Cyril Basset, and Mehmet Joshkun round out the top 10. Mika Sarkinen in 11th position ahead of Pedro Vitor. Scone Roberts in 13th, up a couple positions from his start. Silva Extinio finishes 14th ahead of Jeff Njaka. Shibin Liu in 16th, and Ramon Hornos only completed 3 laps there at the very back. Now, as cars drive up to the podium fixture there in the stadium, we look forward to the feature race. So the sprint, the drivers do not have to conserve. They can use the full power. They can push. They can fight. They can scrap. Conservation and management is the story of the feature race coming up in just a few moments' time. That man on the top step, just above the Roman numeral 1 there, Imran Azar, is the very best at it. Can Nico Pantola or Adam Brown or someone further back, a previous winner, maybe Jared Mead, could one of them challenge for the win in the feature race? Seems like a tall order because Imran Azar is so good in these cars. But that remains to be seen. We will have a 27-lap feature race coming up in just a few moments. Until then, we will take a break while they set the grid, do the feature briefing, and we will be underway again in just a few minutes. We are back, drivers readying up in the background for the feature race. Top 10 finishers from the sprint race reversed. So 10th starting first, 9th starting second, and so on. That will put Mehmet Joshkin on pole position for the feature race ahead of Cyril Basset, Rony Kronpusch, and Barton Kapal. About ready to go in the background. There you can see one more time the track map on the screen. The key feature of this circuit is there in turn 12, the attack boost detection zone on the outside, far from the apex in turn 12. In the feature race, drivers will be compelled to drive through that section 2 times, exactly 2, not more, not less. Drivers taking attack boost twice for the full 350 kilowatts of power in a 27-lap feature race to start in just a few moments. Tom, everyone's readying up. We'll present the grid in just a moment. But before we do that, predictions for the feature.
I reckon Carlos Montoyotis wins it as long as he doesn't crash, because he's got a really strong start. But then again, he is right there with Nico Pantola, isn't he? And we know Nico's quick. Nico had a bad start last time, which is why he got so hampered down that he had to use his attack mode just to catch up. So I think Nico's, if he gets a good start this time, unlike last time, he could very well be in for a win, and it's a long job for Imran Mazar to do to get past the likes of Adam Brown. So I think Imran is going to struggle to win this one. Adam and Nico are probably the hot contenders for the win, but it's going to be exciting to see if there's any surprises up ahead.
Well, we're not supposed to have preferences, but I can say that I would be delighted if Carlos Montoyotis were able to win, and he would be over the moon himself with a victory. I would be very deserving indeed. Presenting the grid right now on the right side in the purple machine, Mehmet Joshkin on a pole position alongside Cyril Basset. Second row of the grid, the green machine, the number 96 of Rony Kronpusch alongside Barton Kapal. Stunning performance from him, 17th to 7th in the sprint race. Jared Mead just behind alongside Teemu Sarkkinen. And then Carlos Montoyotis and Nico Pantola in the next row behind those two. Adam Brown, second place in the sprint alongside Imran Azar, winner of the sprint race today, ahead of Mika Sarkkinen alongside Pedro Vitor in the purple number 51. Very cool blue lines on that car. Scott Roberts in the black machine alongside the other race green driver, Silva Agostinho in the 77, ahead of Jeff Jacob and Ramon Hornos in the number 19. On the final row of the grid, 17th position is Lorenzo Lucchidi, ahead of Rick Rashidska and Jonathan Palmer in the course cars. So we will look to the front of the grid. Feature race about to start in just a few moments, waiting for the lights to come up. Mehmet Joshkin will lead them away into turn 1 in just a moment. 2 lights up, 3, 4, 5. We wait for them to go out, and Mehmet Joshkin will lead them away into turn 1 now. Great start by Cyril Basset alongside, easily into the lead. That is a Rony Krampusch looking for third position, but Martin Capal is going to go through alongside Cyril Basset, a little bit wide and deep in turn 1. Turns second position into third, perhaps fourth. The Rony Krampusch is unable to get by. Martin Capal now firmly into second position, jumps both of that is Jared Mead behind Martin Capal in second position. Cyril Basset does manage to hold third ahead of Rony Krampusch, but that is Teemu Sarkkinen now trying to get through alongside Rony Krampusch. A delightful scrap, 2x2 on the way to the stadium, Tom.
Yeah, a huge gaggle here, sort of from the, I won't say mid-order, but like the mid to high single digits, really scrapping it out. And the guys at the front there are able to keep it neat and keep it in the lead. Adam Brown keeps trying to send up the inside. He's on the inside. Nico having to catch a slight slide and allowed Adam to slink on through there and take the position. So Adam has gained quite a few places and is really in this front group that had the big breakaway from the rest. He has now taken almost first blood. He's got to the front, and then he is the one who's going to lead the charge onto the cars ahead. Imran Mazar has been playing very... Oh, someone spun out, and then off the side there, Jared Mead onto the curb, and around he went. Nico Pantola lifted off to avoid it, and as a result has been absolutely swallowed up by Imran Mazar and Keros Montejoyas into the back of Imran Mazar. Both drivers managed to keep in the car, pointing the right way, but Mikko Sarkkinen is catching up as a result of that.
Yeah, we'll have to apologize on Tom's behalf there. He said Mika Sarkkinen, and Pete immediately started laughing at him. So I'm with you, Tom. Adam Brown now lurking behind Rony Krampusch, made up a couple positions trying to catch Teemu Sarkkinen. Mika Sarkkinen in the background has been demoted behind Nico Pantola. Imran Azar.
It's Joshkin out of the lead. He crashed into the arena section, straight head on into the wall, and has dropped all the way back down to behind Adam Brown now, with Imran Mazar making moves on Rony Krampusch, and Keros Montejoyas colliding with Rony Krampusch as well, but neither of them having too major issues from that. But yeah, not the result Joshkin wanted. He was doing so well.
Yeah, Carlos Montejoyas ahead of Nico Pantola, and Cyril Basset holding off Nico Pantola right now. These two are going to go too wide through the final corner. So, Nico Pantola cuts back and then on the power much earlier than Cyril Basset, who was running wide. Great move by Nico Pantola there. Cyril Basset now in the clutches of one of the Sarkkinen brothers behind him, while Carlos Montejoyas streaks away. At the front, Teemu Sarkkinen has been promoted to the lead ahead of Adam Brown. Martin Capal has dropped from first to third, so not entirely sure what happened there. Now Adam up into the lead ahead of Teemu Sarkkinen. So great race by Teemu Sarkkinen. Martin Capal had it under control. Imran Azar did nothing on the first lap, finished the first lap in 10th, and is now all the way up to third, making up tons of positions in the second and third laps. And now Teemu Sarkkinen right there behind Adam Brown as we look down at the attack boost section to see who will take it. Teemu Sarkkinen chooses to go through it. Adam Brown and Imran Azar through that stack of tires. Everyone else cutting it now that the stack of tires is not in the way. And Teemu Sarkkinen in the field, the only taker of the attack boost section so far.
Yeah, I think he wanted to just keep contact with these guys in front. Adam Brown runs wide out of turn 1, final turn 16, but able to keep hold of it. No major issues there, but of course wants to be careful with that final wall. Imran Mazar
Adam into turn 1. Martin Capal gets shoved wide, almost it gets into the barrier. Carlos Montejoyas is through with Nico Pantola behind him, so tall order for Carlos Montejoyas to catch the leader of the race, but Carlos, very strong performance indeed, has recovered up to 5th after a bit of a shuffle as he comes through turns 5 and 6 now. Someone on the handbrake behind these guys, I believe that was Joshkin using the handbrake to get around the corner. Carlos Montejoyas up to P4 now. There you can see his onboard view. Sovis34 on Twitch. Go give him a follow. We thank him for sharing his onboard footage with us so that we can share it on stream here. Negotiating the stadium section in 4th position.
There we go. Another one that dives through. Carlos Montejoyas has gone for the attack boost now to really use as much as he can to gain back on the guys ahead. I believe this is Lucidi fighting with Pedro Vitor. Vitor losing out, not able to carry the speed around the corner that Lucidi is. So Lucidi able to sneak away into the lead, not into the lead, but gain that position and try and build a bit of a buffer to the car behind there. There is quite a big of a fight there. Lucidi swinging around the outside of Petrovita there and holds position. Oh, Adam Brown and Imran Razak really scrapping at the front as well. Huge battles going all across the field here, and I believe that is Lucidi catching up to the car ahead of him. I don't know exactly who it is, but they are very slow, and that is not ideal there. Just sort of sliding out of the way, lost a whole load of time in places. And Petrovita and Lucidi making the gains up into ninth place there. I believe that was Mika Sarkinen that lost all the place there. Adam, I think it's going for no, he just had a little slide through, not going for the attack boost. But Timo Sarkinen has used that attack boost and he's gotten right up to the back. He's using it to good effect to hold on to these guys here and build a buffer to the cars behind. Doesn't quite have the outright pace of these two, but he is definitely using that to most advantage. He's got a stable buffer, just under 5 seconds from him to the car behind. So he just needs to be able to work on holding that and make sure he is saving enough energy through the race to be safe come the end of it there. As Adam and Imran have been sort of ebbing and flowing in the distance and gaps between the two of them, both clearly showing they are strung around different parts of the track, but of course, with how tight it is here, it doesn't matter how close you get in some places, you're just not going to be able to get through. You need to really work on the harder braking zones or maybe just throw one up the inside on one of the slightly tighter areas there. I believe got a move going on slightly further down the field. Lucidi has made the move on Martin Capel to gain the place there. Lucidi really on the charge up to 8th position now after having a little bit of a rough start, but really making as many gains as possible.
So, a familiar story unfolding as we approach the end of the 6th lap, as we look at Josh Gunn fighting, and now Scott Roberts, alongside. I couldn't tell who that was that he collided with. It was Ramon Hornos that he came side to side with in the stadium section. Scott, a little bit argy-bargy there with Jared Mead behind him. Those two familiar with one another. At the front of the order, Adam Brown in the lead with Imran Azar comfortably behind. Familiar story unfolding, and that is that Imran Azar has made up all of this space as Jared Mead comes through the slipstream, should be easily alongside Scon Roberts. He is indeed a little bit later on the brakes, perhaps a bit earlier out of the throttle from Scon, and Jared Mead through into turn one. Adam Brown is not conserving energy as effectively as Imran Azar. Though fair play to Adam, no one is as good at conserving energy as Imran Azar. But by my count, Imran Azar has nearly an entire lap in hand over Adam, though he has had to make up more space on the grid and had to drive through had to make up a few more positions after the first lap shuffle. Adam benefiting from a few drivers bumping into one another. I see Adam on about 73.5% power now. While Imran has 75, so was about 2 percentage points more power, 1.5 now, but Imran Azar managing well, pulling away from the driver behind him, Timo Sarkinen, who is holding very steady in 3rd position, but Imran Azar appears to be well in control of his energy consumption, while Adam Brown defends 1st position.
Yeah, as we see it back here, Bisset is looking and gaining up ahead. Martin Capel not having a great race. He's losing a lot of time pretty much everywhere. And Bisset, straight into the battle of Martin Capel, and not the move you want to be doing, which has opened the door up for Mika Sarkinen to make the move around the outside. It's going to be a brave one if he's able to hold it. I think he might try and look to get the cut back onto the arena section here. Of course, Martin Capel also struggling a bit. So, not the exit Mika would have wanted, but has allowed Bisset to catch right up. Now, Imran Razak has also taken the attack boost. He's dropped a bit back from Adam Brown as a result, but he's going to have that extra 50 kilowatts. He just needs to keep himself well balanced and poised through here, and he should be able to catch up nicely. We know he's got the speed. We know he's fast as it is, and now he's going to get the extra power to really develop it now.
Behind the leaders, at some point we missed Nico Pantola and Carlos Magiotis trading positions while we were following other action. Carlos Magiotis in 5th, Nico Pantola in 4th. Nico off in pursuit of Timo Sarkinen, who is in a very comfortable position himself. Well done to him, holding 3rd position with a healthy gap behind. As this scrap continues into turn 1, Cyril Bisset still ahead there of Martin Capel, but Martin Capel closing up very quickly under braking. I think Cyril Bisset was perhaps a little bit earlier out of the throttle than Martin Capel was. Martin Capel closed very quickly, and now these two running very close together, fighting for 10th position as they come down the back straightaway.
Adam Brown has just taken the attack boost now, so he lost a load of time, but it wasn't quite enough for Imran Mazar to sneak on past. But now the two, of course, back on the level playing fields with the power. Adam covering off Imran Mazar. He did a lot to close up to him in that last lap, and I think you saw if he went another lap without taking it, the writing was going to be on the wall for the position. But Adam lifts off the power so much earlier for turn one, which really allows Imran to catch up. I think Adam's a little bit concerned possibly of that first corner. Both of them, though, absolutely lifting and coasting for over 100 meters there before that tight turn three corner. So very interesting to see, and they're just with this extra power, they are so off throttle. It's like they're using it really to gain them the extra battery save.
Mehmet Joshkin has clearly been into the barrier. A bit of a Steven Fry-inspired nose on that car as he comes through turns 5 and 6. Still well inside of the top 10, so nice race for him so far, running in 8th. And at the front, Imran Azar is alongside Adam Brown in the stadium. Tried to go the long way around the outside before they make the final left-hander, now turning right out onto the back part of the circuit. So side-by-side racing at the front. Imran Azar still conserving somewhat better than Adam Brown. Adam Brown benefiting from having taken the attack boost a little bit later, a lap later than Imran Azar does. Adam Brown, as Tom interjected there, just a brief touch of the wall, though able to stay well clear of Imran Azar as they negotiate turn one. These two pulling away very comfortably from Timo Sarkkinen, who was falling into the clutches of Nico Pantola very quickly. So Timo Sarkkinen, who did have a healthy 4-second gap, now only 1 second clear of Nico Pantola. And now Mika Sarkkinen fighting with Martin Kapal for 10th position.
Yeah, I believe Mika Sarkkinen got through Martin Kapal on a little bit of a wobble. There we go, Timo Sarkkinen there, just right up on Nico. It was a wobble from Timo Sarkkinen, not the other brother, which has allowed Nico Pantola through there. So I was going to probably suggest interject a bit little earlier. I think Timo Sarkkinen really, the best thing he can do for his race is not try to fight Nico and Kellis Montejoitis when they come through. There's a big buffer to the guys behind them, and we know just how quick those guys are. So if he just needs to back up and let him through, as Martin Kapal is, of course, closing on to Mika Sarkkinen now. The other brother under attack from a gaggle of cars behind, both with a lot of the boost to go and a long time to run, Travis.
Yes, indeed. You can see on the timing tower, boost usages remaining. Adam and Imran both have 1 remaining and still time on the clock from their first consumption. Nico has not been through the attack boost section at all yet. As we look down the order, Mehmet Joshkin, Pedro Vitor, Mika Sarkkinen, 3-way fight coming out of the final corner. That is Jared Mead and Martin Kapal trying to get by Ramon Hornos. That is Ramon Hornos who holds that position into turn 1, and now these black, yellow, and red Savage Sim Sports machines run line astern as they try to take 13th position. Those two cars do look very nice running next to each other as they come around to turns 5 and 6 now. Adam Brown still in control at the front, though Imran Azar slightly better on energy. Still plenty of drivers yet to drive through the attack boost section. Carlos Maciotis there in 4th position has taken that from Timo Sarkkinen. So Timo Sarkkinen going backward, has a bit of a gap on Roni Kronpush now. So respectable performance from him. Carlos Maciotis not looking like he is on for fulfilling Tom's very bold prediction, but a strong race from him regardless in 4th as he approaches turn 1 for the 13th time of asking.
Nico Pantola, interestingly, no attack boost and has just set the fastest lap of the race. So interesting from him, and I think just sort of briefly looking at the front, Imran Razar is sort of watching how Adam regens. I think because into 5 and 6, Adam doesn't really cover the inside. So I think there's definitely an opportunity if Imran wanted it to send him up the inside in there, but we'll have to see how we do. I believe Bissett is closing now on Pedro Vitor, so it'll be interesting. We can see that one on camera shortly. Adam Brown's gone back into the attack boost to take the second one. Imran Mazar has taken the lead as a result, and so he's going to be vulnerable, and I think he just needs to try and build a bit of a buffer here. If he can get some sort of distance between Adam, they should be okay. Jumping back now to Pedro Vitor, and the voice went there. Cyril Bissett, Pedro is holding him off for now, but it'll be interesting to see how long he can do for, because Cyril has been on a fantastic charge through the field on this one here, as Adam Brown is making a move on Imran Razar into turn 3. Imran holding the outside, still got the car there, still there, and he backs out, giving Adam the position, which is not really what you want to be doing too much, because Adam, of course, has that extra power now, and I would expect Imran to jump through the attack boost now, Travis.
Yeah, so halfway around the 14th lap, so halfway through the race, and Adam has a problem, and that is that he has less than 50% charge in this machine with about 50% of the race yet to run, while Imran Azar is still perfectly good on energy. So Adam will need to do some aggressive conservation while keeping Imran behind him. Imran making it a little bit easier, giving Adam some space to save energy by diving into the attack boost section. So Imran gives up a second and a half or two on the road. Though Imran Azar, I would argue, is in firm control of this race from a second position, while Adam needs to conserve energy to make it the final distance. Was going to mention about Cyril Basset. He's a relative newcomer to series sanctioned by run by MRC and New Dimension Racing, but steadily improving, getting quicker. One thing we noted about Cyril Basset in the free practice and then the official practice session is how smooth he is. So small mistakes here and there, getting accustomed to the car and going faster and faster. But he is very smooth indeed. And here we go. The weather element, Tom. Light rain, track shows dry. So we did not review this before the top of the show. If the race is declared wet, then drivers will need to come in and put on the road tires, which offer no grip at all whatsoever. They're absolutely miserably difficult to drive on. But as long as the track is still considered dry, the drivers can run on the tires they have been using. So light rain certainly implies the threat of a wet track, but right now still dry. We will keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and if I was any of the drivers right now, I would be diving straight to get my attack boost used, because you're going onto tires that have basically no grip. You're going to put more power through it, so you need to get those.
Tom. Imran Azar just dove around the outside of Adam Brown going into turn 2, went way too deep, had to get out of it before he plowed into the barrier head on. Adam able to retake the position, but Imran Azar with a slight margin on energy and perhaps some urgency owing to the weather conditions. Aggressive move that nearly came off very poorly, slots back into second position while they catch back markers.
Yeah, very, very aggressive. I think Imran's trying hard now. He's decided to turn the wick up. He's noticed the energy difference. I think he's trying to turn the screws onto Adam, going to try and make Adam use more power that he doesn't have to use, and really try and put Adam into as much of a difficult situation as possible. As of course, they do catch up onto the back of Yefin Yakub, who does need to be mindful of these two catching him. And because of that, Imran Azar really struggling with this extra power. I think tyres possibly getting a little too warm right now. It just needs to be careful with that attack boost.
Okay, so rain has dissipated, so no more rain. Back marker out of the way and into the turn 1 barrier. You suggested that she should get out of the way of the leaders, Tom. I don't know that that's what we had in mind. That was a bit harsh. Track remains dry. Rain has stopped, so no threat of having to go onto the wet and truly, I cannot understate this, how awful it is to drive on those tires in this car with all of the low end electric torque. These drivers can continue racing as they have done, and I think they can continue strategizing about how they will use their attack boost as well. Adam and Imran, none remaining. A fine gaggle of cars right here. Mika Sarkinen in a sandwich with Jared Mead behind, Ramon Harnos and Mehmet Joshkin fighting ahead of them. Now side by side coming into turn 5. Mika Sarkinen trying to make the best of it as he could as Mehmet Joshkin goes way off circuit, comes back on just ahead of Mika Sarkinen. A proper scrap among 4 drivers here.
Yeah, it's a fantastic battle going on here. Really just getting in amongst it and really fighting for it. Oh, Imran Azar is actually going for a move around the outside, and Adam Brown using that extra power to try and force something. I think he just needs to be a little bit patient and try and use the last of his energy on this back straight. But he's about to run out of that extra boost. So there we go. Wasn't able to take advantage of it with the boost, and has the race is normalized with Adam still in the lead, leading Imran Azar there. But Joskin there really scrapping with I can't see who exactly that is. Mika Sarkinen on the inside. Sarkinen getting tyres all sorts of lit up, but Joskin able to survive. But Sarkinen not out of the woods yet. Jared Mead going alongside onto the brakes a bit later diving in, but Jared's got a bit wide over the bumps, lost a bit of control, and allowed Sarkinen to get back through. A fantastic job there from Sarkinen to hold the position.
Huge slide by Mika Sarkinen there, though he had the position. Looked like he went over a bit of a bump, and the rear of the car trying to get away from him. That has pulled him back into Jared Mead's clutches, even though Jared Mead went wide into turn one. Nico Patola, haven't talked much about him recently, is comfortably in third position ahead of Carlos Magiotis, who is about 6 seconds down the road. Could just see him jump into view in the background. Adam and Imran have gone through turn 2 now, are on their way to turns 5 and 6, and I think this has been a theme. I think there's just more grip around the outside of the second corner than everyone has realized. Imran Azar has figured out and has realized that he can go deep there without wasting too much energy and challenge Adam on the outside of that corner. Imran Azar right there with him all the way now with a slight advantage in energy. And as you said a minute or two ago, Tom, I think Imran Azar, now that he is comfortable, they're working their way through back markers. Adam Brown is under some energy pressure. He's turning up the wick a little bit, turning the screws on Adam's poor toes to try to force him into a mistake, or perhaps just be there when Adam finally has to lean out so much that he's not able to fight for the lead.
Yeah, I think it's quite into the sort of tactics game you tend not to see here, where it is very tactical now. It's less so on the pure pace at this exact point and more onto about energy saving and how well you save during the rest of the race. Scoron jumping out the way there for the two leaders to get through without any issue. That's very well done from him. Imran Azar sniffing the bumper on Adam, of course, through the slow corner, but just builds that gap to him again. It's going to ebb and flow. Adam off the throttle about 200-meter mark, so a long time of coasting just to try and hold it. He's got about 26% of energy left, so he's really, really running low. Quarter of the race of energy to go. It's going to be very close for him for making it to the finish, Travis.
Yeah, one thing I notice looking back to Nico Pantola, Imran Azar, I think, barring a big mistake, I think he will be able to cruise to victory when Adam needs to start aggressively conserving. Nico Pantola, about as much energy remaining as Adam, though he has an attack boost yet to use. So I think Carolus is cruising in fourth position, may have an opportunity to catch up to Nico. All his
Adam hit the
boost
wall and
done.
from wide. Imran Azar has dived through. I think Adam has realised he needs to save a bit more energy. He's letting Imran Azar through to take the toe. I wonder if this is maybe tactical or the fact that he got so out of shape. Be interested to see if Imran builds a big gap here, if Adam pushes to try and take it back. Sorry for jumping in the trap. We hit clip the curb, so using a whole load more energy, just wasted, sliding sideways out the corner there. So not great, but backing off massively from Imran Azar.
Yeah, no worries, Tom. Yeah, as I was saying, looking back to Nico, about level on power with Adam, but has to get through one of those attack boosts. Carolus, who I recall, I think fairly, someone will correct me if I'm wrong, I think Carolus struggled somewhat with conserving energy in earlier seasons of the E-Challenge. The advantage he has right now is that he has a gap both ahead and behind. He can just cruise, though Nico, with his energy situation, could yet fall back into Carolus's clutches, and Carolus good on energy, better than the cars around him. Teemu Sarkinen conserving for very well. Lorenzo Lucidi even better behind them. So plenty of drivers good on energy, whereas Adam Brown and Nico Pantola in kind of a tenuous position, to say the least. We could have a little bit of excitement unfolding at the end of the race, as these drivers, Adam Brown, Nico Pantola in particular, need to be very mindful of their consumption.
Yeah, it's good to see the energy graph across the field there. Imran Azar, not the most in the field by any means, but has used his energy, his attack boost, and has used it to good use, and has been very, very good with his energy at the start of the race, which is, of course, paying him back in dividends now. He is far better off, and I think Adam's getting a little bit scrappy at the minute, or just got his lines a little bit wrong that time round. At the minute, he keeps tapping that wall going through the final corner and get the car a little bit offset. There we see Jared Mead as we run down to turn 3. Joskin, of course, does have the boost to use. Jared Mead has been closing this gap, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how well it uses. I think Joskin probably wants to jump through and use that attack boost as soon as he can to try and build a gap behind. But of course, as soon as he takes it, he's going to lose the position. Jared Mead has got such. Joskin is currently using his attack boost. Silly me not reading the signs properly. So he really needs to try and make his most of this. But Jared Mead has been absolutely closing him down and still has his attack boost to use as well. So it is not ideal that we see.
In the sprint race, Jared left it a little bit late, and it appears he's going to do it again. So he could make the most efficient use of 4 minutes of extra energy. Will not have done because he's gone through the attack boost without taking it. Looking at his teammate Martin Capal now, who has used one of his attack boosts. In fact, he's just gone through, and he has one remaining. So Martin Capal just using all the energy right there at the end of the race. Can you go through the attack section while you're still on boost? I assume you can. I don't recall seeing anything in the rules that would penalize that. It won't. As far as I know, or I'm hearing that it wouldn't reset. So the rules state clearly that you have to go through it 2 times. So I think perhaps we'll ask for some clarification after the race. Looking back to Teemu Sarkkinen, who is now falling back into the clutches of Lorenzo Lucchini. Teemu Sarkkinen does need to go through the attack boost section one more time. Nico Patola does as well. A few more drivers much further down the order yet to use their attack boosts as this race winds down. At the front, Imran Azar is now a country mile ahead of Adam Brown, who has finally thrown in the towel and realized that he needs to coast all the way around the circuit. So Imran Azar cruising to what appears will be a comfortable victory for him, while Jared Mead still fights with Mika Sarkkinen behind him.
Yeah, excellent job from Imran Azar here, looking like a double win so far as long as everything goes well. Looking back down the order, of course, Nico still needs to jump through the boost, and Teemu Sarkkinen. I wonder if Jared Mead basically held off on going through the boost because he just didn't feel comfortable with having the extra power and control on the car there. I think that probably could be a reason, or because he was waiting for Joskins to run out so he can really take the advantage, take the fight to him, and try and slip through. And there we go. He gets through. You see, easily done there, as well as Mika Sarkkinen closing in behind him. Joskin, I think, is lifting off because I think he needs realize he needs more charge than what he's currently got. As
that is Imran Azar coming through as well.
Imran Azar piling on through the 3 of them who are in the middle of a scrap. Adam Brown still to catch these group ahead. I'd be surprised now if we don't see Mika Sarkkinen diving for the attack boost there. Wasn't fully in the lines. I assume that still activates it for him. Not seeing it against them all. He's going to have to go again because he tried to cut the lines, tried to cut it tight, and he's lost time. But, it has engaged time. We'll see what's going on there. It's a little bit of a funny graphic. Ooh. It's giving him a bit more, but getting very scrappy with the lines. Drivers need to be a little bit more mindful, and they should be okay. Though Martin Capal might be in a little bit of trouble in terms of getting his attack boost used. He's still got a minute to go, which I think he could be okay because it's about 2 laps, so he should be fine. But we'll need to go through to activate Martin Capal's second attack boost next time round, and it got Mika Sarkkinen, of course, still to get his boost used.
Yeah, Joshkin, who he squeezed onto the curbing in turn 16 on the previous lap, still side by side here. Mika Sarkkinen does need to get through the attack boost section on this lap or the next one. He could do it on the final lap. It would be a bit of a waste. He will want that extra power to try to reclaim the 14th position currently held by Mehmet Joshkin. We look to see Mika Sarkkinen go wide. No, he misses it. So he will, hopefully he has realized that he has not actually gotten his final use of the attack boost, and it does get through there on the final lap, lest he receive a penalty. Speaking of final lap, Imran Azar crossing the line now to begin the final lap of the race. Well clear of Adam Brown behind him, who is sandbagging to say the least. And meanwhile, Nico Patola went wide to take his final attack boost. Carlos Magiotis, slightly better on energy, has caught him a ton, is only a second further down the road. Nico Patola, Adam Brown, still very tight on energy, should be able to make it to the end of the race at this point after aggressive conservation. I think Carlos Magiotis is probably not quite enough to catch Nico Patola, certainly with the benefit of extra power. We watch Imran Azar come into the stadium section for the 27th time through the first of these left-handers, the second one waiting for the third one. And now
I
he
think
brings the
Carlos
car across.
Montoyotis is. Oh, sorry, I thought Carlos Montoyotis was about to go for a move on Nico Pontola into the arena section. Adam Brown is absolutely crawling in front of the two of them. I know Imran Mazar here coming round the final corner to take the flag. Here we go, coming out there, crossing across the line, not quite across the line yet. I forget how far down this line is. There we go. Imran Mazar wins the second race in a row, both races this evening. Adam Brown is going to get to the start-finish line okay. And there he goes. He's coming out the final.
Behind them,
Nico Patola has run out of power.
Patola's coasting.
Is going around the outside.
Carlos Montoyotis is through.
He's taken third. Outstanding job there from Carlos Montoyotis to claim that podium position. I think we made a rough guess that he was going to get a podium here today. So that's always good to see.
Yeah, so a little bit too much excitement for Tom Jones to take there. Those were curious Tom Jones noises indeed. Carlos Montoyotis just sneaks through as Nico Patola has to coast just to get, he may have run out of energy there and let Carlos Montoyotis through there at the last gasp. Timo Sarkkinen, 5th position, great performance from him ahead of Lorenzo Lucchidi. Roni Kronpusch, Cyril Basset crosses the line to finish 8th, and now we wait for the remaining cars to come across the line now. Plenty of drivers will be down 1 lap. Pedro Vitor finishes in 9th. Ramon Hornos will cross the line in 10th. And there we have it. Jared Mead, first of the drivers, 1 lap down in 11th position, ahead of Josh Gunn, who he fought most of the way. Mika Sarkkinen, the worst of the Sarkkinen brothers today, ahead of Martin Kapal. Scone Roberts in 15th. And then Jeff and Jacob in 16th position. 1 driver not finishing the race, and I'm not sure who that will have been. We'll check on that. Agostino, only 3 laps completed, DNF there in 17th. So there you have it. Imran Azar, a clean sweep today, pole position, winner of the sprint race and of the feature, ahead of Adam Brown, who finishes 14 seconds behind Imran Azar, running so closely the whole way. Imran Azar, the master of conserving energy, consolidates a 15-second victory over Adam Brown. And Carlos Montoyotis, who just sneaks through past Nico Patola, who ran out of energy across the line. Carlos needing a little bit of help to get up on the podium, but there he has done, flanking Imran Azar on the top step. Nico Patola, Timo Sarkkinen, Lorenzo Lucchidi, Roni Kronpusch, Cyril Basset, Pedro Vitor, Ramon Hornos, your top 10. Jared Mead, Mehmet Joshkin, Mika Sarkkinen, Martin Kapal, Scone Roberts, Jevin Jacob, and Silva Agostino. Once again, rounding out positions 11 through 17. We will take a moment to refresh ourselves, and then we will return for a few interviews. If you would like to join us for an interview, please join at the commentary box waiting room in TeamSpeak, and we will speak to you shortly. We will be right back in just a moment. We are back and ready for interviews. It appears, unfortunately, that Imran Azar has another commitment he needs to join, so we will be unable to speak to him. However, we do have second place finisher today, Adam Brown, no stranger to the commentary box. Adam, welcome. A strong finish after a difficult practice and qualifying. Turn 1 appeared to be the bane of your race today. Talk us through your race and about driving these cars through a tricky circuit.
Yeah, I knew turn 1 was going to be such a big time gainer if you get it right. So I was pushing really hard there in practice, and I just wasn't. I had slipped my mind in qualifying that if I mess this up, then I don't get another chance. But yeah, that track is surprisingly fun. I always thought of these Formula E tracks as being a bit weird and Mickey Mouse, but this one, I mean, I guess most of it's a Formula One track, so that's why it's good.
And talk about your sprint race a little bit. Obviously, conservation does not figure in. You can push really hard, and it looked like you had a great scrap with Imran most of the way. Ultimately, unable to convert that into a win, but looked like a strong race in race one.
Yeah, it is quite hard to overtake around this track. There's a couple places where I was faster. Like turn 2, I felt that I was faster. I guess it's turn 3, I don't know. And the corner at the end of the back straight, I felt I had the legs on Imran, but everywhere else he was a bit faster. And yeah, I just couldn't get close enough in the important corners to make a move.
Yeah, Adam, we also noticed you did okay with your energy conservation. It just sort of looked at those last 5 laps. It was maybe a bit too much pushing early on, and talk us through sort of where you feel like the energy sort of struggles came from there, because you end up losing, I think it was about 10 seconds across 5 laps due to needing to save that energy to get to the end. How did that sort of play out with you?
Yeah, so I had Imran behind me for most of the race, and I was assuming that he was on similar energy than I was. Obviously, he was doing a much better job, but it felt like he was in a similar charge percentage, but obviously he had way more. So I was just assuming that he was going to be saving a lot in the last laps as well. Obviously not. So yeah, next race I'm going to definitely try and run my own race a bit more and try not to react to those around me.
Yeah, bold assumption to guess that the best of the best in energy conservation behind you was on a similar strategy. But live and learn, as you said, and we will look forward to you being in a stronger position at the end of the race in the next round.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers, Adam. Thanks for joining us in the commentary box. Next, we'll talk to Carlos Machiotis. Carlos, welcome to the commentary box. The sprint race went, well, by our perspective, I think your sprint race went okay, but you have to be mighty pleased with your feature race, just snatching a podium there at the end. Talk us through your sprint race and then how the end of the feature race unfolded.
Well, the start of the sprint race was really fun because just before the sprint race, I was talking with everyone. I think, our Yes channel had top 3 and a bit more in the same channel, and I was talking about the importance of not spinning the tires. Both first and P1, P2 spun the tires, and I just went past them like they were standstill for first corner, so that was real fun. But yeah, I knew both of them are gonna be faster than me, so after that it was just trying to hang on to whatever position I can stay in. But for the feature race, I wasn't really strategizing. Well, yeah, maybe for the first few laps I was overspending a bit to get in front a bit faster, then saved some to get back in like place. And after that I was just trying to keep on the target, and that paid out. We were talking with Nico, and I mean, I think it was from lap 3 or 4 he started talking that well, maybe a bit later, that he's overspending a bit. He's like half a lap short, so he needs to save. But at the same time, I see he just keeps on pulling further and further in front of me. So I was wondering whether he'll have enough charge for the end. But yeah, my strategy paid out to just keep on the target and not to overpush it.
Well done, Karis. When we noticed with the plugin we have which shared your Twitch view that you were sharing, we noticed you were running in the cockpit view. Something Travis highlighted. Bit of a change for you. Normal. How did you find it?
I think it was easier because this is an open wheeler. So like, yeah, well, not necessarily because of the middle, but because of how open it is, and I can still have a good view. So it wasn't as much of a hit visibility-wise. If we compare to going to an in-car view in a closed cockpit car. So I think that helped me a lot, because when I was trying to go in-car in GT2, it was much more difficult.
So there we have it, confirmed. In cockpit view, it's just better. Anyway, swiftly moving on from that point, because your end in the feature race was quite hectic. Travis and I, of course, the professionals we are, remained incredibly calm around that final corner to the line.
Yes, perfect composure is what you'll find when you watch that back.
Yeah, there was no overexcitedness or anything. How were you feeling as you ran up to the line there? Any was it a bit of like a sort of rocking back and forward as you were going, or was it very, very calm for yourself?
No, when starting the last, 2 laps before the finish lap, I saw that Nico is lifting heavily. When starting the last lap, he was still unsure whether he has enough charge. So I just kept my calm and just didn't really change anything, kept on my saving pace, etc. It was quite funny to see him leaving the hairpin to the back straight. I lifted as usual, and I see he's still going. So yeah, I thought that's not a good sign for you.
Well, hats off to you. Good job conserving and managing your race, and hopefully you can convert a strong performance today into another strong performance, or perhaps a stronger performance in a couple weeks' time.
I do hope so. Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's Carlos Marchiotis in the commentary box, sharing a few of his thoughts. We thank him for joining us. 2 more. We'll talk to Mehmet Joshkin next. Mehmet, thank you for joining us in the commentary box. Exciting racing for you. You spent a long time scrapping with other drivers. Talk us through what appeared to be more or less a constant battle with your competitors in the sprint and then in the feature.
Yeah, thank you. At the sprint, at the first corner, somebody used me as their braking point, and I was pushed through the wall, and somebody came onto me too, and my suspension, my camber, everything was red. And just when I was going to the pit wall, the safety car came out. It was a really lucky call. I pitted, and I was P16 at the moment. I made my way through, and I was P10. I didn't actually knew that there was a reverse grid, so it was pretty shocking when I found out, and I was pretty excited. At the race, at the first corner, I thought I was gonna get overtaken. Well, I did, but when I was coming to the corners, the person in front of me braked late and missed the apex, so I just take back my position. It was going really great at the second lap, but I just panicked because I didn't know I was going to be at the first place. So I just gone through a wall and I lose a bunch of time. So I was P6, and it was done constant battling. I was saving battery. There was people coming with attack modes. I was trying to defend, but I was trying to, like as I said, save my battery at the same time. So it was really frustrating. And as well, it was my first time using a electric car in LFS, so I didn't really know how to cruise and get more battery. So it was really interesting. At the end of the race, it worked out pretty well. I was P12. Like my main objective was finishing the race. So even if I had last place, I was going to be happy. So I'm pretty happy with my result.
Yeah, it looked very good from our point of view. We've had a few different people mention different things in relation to how they found the attack boost go for you. Did you find it easier to drive, harder? Did you think you were slower when actually in that attack mode? Or what's sort of your overall thinking around the attack mode there?
So when you're hot lapping or doing some normal laps, when you're not fighting, attack mode is completely useless. It makes your car unstable. It makes you faster at straights, but when you're getting out of the apex, it makes you're actually getting slower in speed because you're in the fear of spinning out. So in hot laps or when you're going alone, yeah, it's really frustrating to use the attack mode. I wouldn't recommend using, but when you're actually fighting with people, attack mode comes in pretty much in help, and you gain so much time when you're fighting. But other than that, it's not that great.
There we go. Travis, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so perhaps, perhaps more challenging. Yeah, the comments that we heard, like in the open practice and then the official practice session, were that it quote made the car slower. But it sounds like not necessarily that it makes the car slower, just more difficult to drive. So yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts there. That illuminates what was I think a bit confusing to Tom and I. The extra power taking a bit more care is what it sounds like.
At the straight, you're like 50 kilometers faster, like at the start of the finish line. But yeah, at the corners when you're getting out of apex, it makes the car so much unstable.
There you have it, a first-hand account of the challenge of driving these MRC E-Challenge machines. That is Mehmet Joshkin. Thank you for joining us at the commentary box.
My pleasure.
And we wish you the best of luck in a couple weeks.
Thank you. See you later.
And one more interview. We'll talk to Cyril Basset. Bonsoir, Cyril. How are you? How was your race? Tell us about your sprint and your feature.
Hi. Well, the sprint race, well, both races, yeah, in fact, were pretty good. I finished about at 50% of the field. The sprint race, though, the start was a bit messy from on my side. I dived on the inside, and I think I caused one of the incidents early on. Following that, it went okay. I didn't make any mistake. I managed to use the attack boost to overtake someone, and well, overall the sprint went pretty good. In the second race, I missed my braking point in the first turn, but other than that, I think it went all right. I managed to use the attack boost to overtake someone, and then I went for the attack boost a second time when light rain started falling, just so I wouldn't have to use it with the wet tires. But the rain let off, so that was okay.
Yeah, we wondered if somebody would. Tom mentioned that he expected somebody to do that, and we had missed that you tried it. So that was a good catch by Tom. I'm curious. Could you talk a little bit about driving this car and the challenge of the extra power being on attack boost? One thing. So if you heard Mehmet, a couple minutes ago, he said it's much more challenging to drive with the extra power. You get the benefit of the extra speed, but otherwise it is a bit more of a handful. One thing we've noted about your driving in particular is how smooth you are. So a lot of other drivers, you're kind of pushing this car, kind of rubber banding between conservation and management, and then pushing very hard through the corners to try to make up time. We've noted that you in particular are very smooth everywhere. So talk a little bit about driving this car and how it changes.
I think I was smooth in the feature race, less so in the sprint. In the feature race, I knew I had to manage energy. I was aiming for my target the whole way, and I managed to hit it pretty constantly. So that's a good thing. Attack boost it's good and bad at the same time. You get the advantage of the higher speed. You also get more spin out of corners, of course, because you're on a race set, not on a hot lap set, and yeah, and you use more battery when you accelerate with it on. It's really a challenging situation. You go from normal race pace to slightly higher pace, but you have to manage accordingly.
Yeah, well, it was very impressive. I noted particularly those last sort of 10 laps or so in the feature race, you seem to have quite a bit more pace than all those around you. I was just wondering, I don't know if I missed something, but it seemed like you suddenly had all that pace. I was thinking you probably should have been ahead of them for most of the race. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that one.
Well, maybe that was when I used the second attack boost. I think I used it, the first one to overtake, and the second one I just used because I had to, and I didn't have a real occasion coming up before or after that. So I used it, and maybe it increased my pace a little bit. Other than that, I was mainly aiming to hit my my energy target.
Well, thank you once again for joining us in the commentary box. Congratulations on a strong finish. They're P8 in the feature race, and we look forward to seeing you again in a couple weeks' time.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you. All right, I think that will do it for us. Tom, round out your thoughts before we close down the shop for today.
Well, we always know of E-Challenge. It is absolutely chaotic and a fantastic watch, and it's one of those series that I always look forward to every year we get to do it. This year, the starting round one has been no different. We didn't quite have the rain chaos this year that we had last year for round one, but what we did have was two fantastic races with some amazing drives across all. I feel bad and sorry for Gabor feeling unwell, so not able to participate. It would have been exciting to see a duel between him and Imran, of course, with the fantastic pace with the saving, and then also Gabor's raw pace. That would have been interesting to see how that played out. So missed out on that one, but we saw fantastic battles between Adam and Imran in race 2, really taking it all the way to the end there. And as well as battles all the way through the field. I think that barrier outside of turn 1 claimed less lives than I was expecting it to. So it was good to see people were a little bit more careful there. I know always the higher risk in qualifying because everyone's trying to gain all those the extra 10th where possible. But overall, it's been absolutely fantastic first round, and really excited to see how the rest of the series is going to play out.
Thank you for rounding out your thoughts there, Tom. There you can see schedule on the screen. In 2 weeks' time, we will be at the Berlin E-Prix circuit layout. It is April 21st, same time, 1800 hours UTC. And then a few weeks after that, the New York E-Prix circuit, and then we'll round it out with a new layout. That's the Portland E-Prix circuit, round 4. Same day as the Indianapolis 500. I unfortunately will not join you here in the commentary box. I will be in Indianapolis, but looking forward there for round 4 and the conclusion of this season, which so far looks to be firmly in control of Imran Azar. Though we know there are plenty of other perfectly strong drivers in the field. Gabber could come back. Could Gabber snatch another championship? It remains to be seen. 3 rounds yet to go after the first round concluded here today. Imran Azar sweeps pole position, converted into a sprint race and then a feature race win. So congratulations once again to him. I think that will do it for all of us. For everybody on the NDR team, the JPs in particular, we thank them for all their work in the background. Michael Malik for all his work with the MRC team, putting together these layouts and the car. Rick and Yarda, Stewart's in the background today. Mo for his cameras. Pete in the background, in our ears, helping run the cameras, doing all the development. Martin Kapal, we have neglected to mention all the work that he does in the background. He does a lot of great work for us to help bring all of the layouts and all of the stuff that you see or that you don't see behind the scenes that make these broadcasts possible. So we thank him. And then finally, my co-commentator, Tom Jones. Thank you very much for joining me on this adventure MRC E-Challenge 2024 season. It is a thrill to be here in the box with you once again. My name is Travis Mehlinger. This has been a Sim Broadcast. Thank you very much for joining us today. Wherever you are, be safe, be well. Have a great morning, evening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.